Welcome everyone, Assalamualaikum and hello everybody. Welcome to Favorite Sembang Santai episode 4. Right, so I'm Zura Zali and today we've got a very special guest. No stranger to this place at all. The one and only our CEO of Favorite, Dr. Mazlan Abbas. Welcome, Dr.
Salam, thank you Zura. I think it's been a great pleasure to be here again in our favorite Sembang Santai in episode 4.
Yep.
So we have 4 weeks already, right?
Yeah, that's right. So the title, what is the title gonna be like today? Tajuk dia. Wow, okay.
It's up to you lah, Zura.
Okay, our title for today, okay, what we're going to talk about. So, do you want to build an IoT project? So, what do you need to know? Alright, so let's start that, yeah? So, it might be like a casual chat though, but today's topic is actually pretty serious. So, we're going to talk about how to build an IoT project. What are the challenges involved, the actual steps, and some solid advice for companies that want to dive into the IoT business, Doctor. Okay, so you think that's a lot of people?
No, I think exactly this is the topic that a lot of people have been talking about. You know, they want to build IoT projects, but many of them don't really understand how exactly to build the product itself. What are the things going to be involved behind the scenes? So these are some of the things that we have, go through for the whole several years within the company.
Okay.
And maybe we like to share with a lot of our members here.
Right. Okay, let's dive. Okay, Doctor. So let's start with the basics. If someone wants to build an IoT project, what would be the first thing that they need to understand first, Doctor?
Okay. For an IoT project, it's quite simple. We need to know 5 components.
Okay.
We need to know what kind of sensors, the hardware itself. So these sensors are very key in censoring, getting information. But also there must be some actuator if you need to control it.
Yep.
Secondly, you need to know what kind of connectivity is going to be used. What kind of networks that are going to be involved.
Right.
Thirdly, there is actually a platform for you to collect the data, the middleware itself. And fourth, you need to build an application on top of that. You need to build a dashboard, you need to do some analytics, and finally you must secure the whole communication. So that is the 5 main components. For example, if you want to do a sensor to monitor people, for example, so you need to monitor people, you need to have a wearable device, and then you need to have a GSM or whatever 4G network to send, and there is a platform to collect the data.
Right.
There is an application that you use on your mobile app to view, and everything is secure lah, no one can hack you. So that's an example lah.
Okay. So I guess so it's not a plug and play, right?
Of
and
course.
Magically everything works.
Yeah.
It's not that way. Yeah.
If it's magic, everything you can done so easily. So with the way or when a product can be
Let
built.
me give you a magic one. Do your own application.
So even though it seems that it's going to be plug and play, there's a lot of things need to for us to understand. That's why we always ask the first question. What's the actual problem when we build an IoT solutions? What exactly that we are trying to solve?
True. That's why I always ask my customers as well. Yeah. So yes, Doctor. Actually, I've seen this happen often. People always get so excited to start IoT projects.
Yeah.
Then after a few weeks, they ghost. Ghost out. Why does that happen?
Yeah, it happens all the time. You're going to see that the main issue, the biggest issue of all, is that the expectation that they have doesn't really match the actual reality. It doesn't happen that way. So people think the moment they install the sensors, that's it. The data can be sent automatically.
Wow, that's
but in reality, it's not that easy because there are many things that you need to see. So sometimes you need to know whether the sensor are, is it stable enough to send the data? Still alive.
Yep.
Whether the connectivity breaks up. Sometimes there is connectivity, sometimes there's no connectivity at all. Data cannot be sent. So data doesn't show up where has it been lost in a way, from the sensor to the platform. And sometimes you send a platform which is not compatible enough to collect the data. So these are the most common one. So when this happens, they have no idea how to troubleshoot. Where exactly they want to troubleshoot. So that's why they go, they hilangkan diri lah, menghantui.
Yeah, and I also have a customer say things like, why is the battery draining so fast? When they don't realize that the sensor they're transmitting is every 10 seconds and that burns power.
So that's exactly the common mistake that people have encounter. They didn't test this in actual environment, so they always test this in the lab, they test in the office, where when they install that in the actual site, this is what happens. Because there's a lot of things when it happens. Sometimes even the environmental things will happen, and the real world conditions, when it happens, you need to test. Because I always mention to a lot of people who wants to build a product, there are lab test prototypes, there are beta tests which you need to go outside to test it out. So alpha and beta products needs to be tested fully before you make it commercial.
I see. Okay. So there's steps to be taken.
Yes.
All right. So okay, doctor, for companies or students who wants to build an IoT products, what would be the first real step?
So what do you think?
Well, there's a lot.
No, every time we meet the customers, kan Zura, so they always ask us that I want you to propose a product, but they really don't understand exactly the problem. So we need to understand the user's problem.
Right.
So that's very key. So don't start with say I have a product and I want to give it to you and you solve the problem. So no, you have to ask certain questions. So for example, one question is that who's the end user? Who actually benefits using this solution?
Right.
What's their biggest pain point? Is it their manpower? Is it because they need to create new products, new revenue streams? Is it because they want to have monitoring continuously? Is it they want to track certain assets that they want? It's very key. So the pain point is to be identified early. And then what do actually they require to fix, because IoT needs to be very specific. You in a certain environment, if you fix tracking, it's a tracking issue that you're going to fix. So once that's clear, you have to start with what we call a proof of concept. This proof of concept don't have to be very expensive. Proof of concept is like minimal viable product MVP.
Right.
So you use whatever affordable sensors that you have. So the idea for us to build a proof of concept is to ensure that this product works.
I see.
The goal that you want to achieve and your idea really works. And then you can scale up lah.
So maybe just test at one side first.
Yes. You don't have to scale very big and suddenly when you spend millions of ringgit and it doesn't work. So that's why a lot of IoT projects start with POC.
Correct. So after the POC, are you ready to go for the market?
That's why I say I think POC can be a lab based, but not yet. You need to go for what you call pilot deployment. Install that at the real site. So this real site, you will have your customers at the end that actually monitor the performance of your installation. So whether it really performs to what their expectation. And you have to look at sometimes you feel that the network works best in that kind of environment. So when you install in the pilot site, it doesn't work that way. So it doesn't have 4G coverage. It doesn't have LoRa coverage.
True.
So what kind of options, connectivity that you need to use? Sometimes using one telco doesn't work, you need to choose another telco lah.
Correct. So that's why you need to test every little things.
Yes,
right?
yes, of course.
And I believe only after that it comes productization, right, doctor?
Yes. So when you want to do a real product, to turn that into a commercial product, so you have to think a lot more lah. For example, prototype doesn't have a casing, so you must have actual product casing. So this product casing is critical because it involves for you to test whether it can withstand the weather, the kind of environment that you want to put in.
Robust enough.
It must be robust enough because you don't want to install and then tomorrow it just break up.
Correct.
And then you have to look at your firmware. Firmware is the software that's built into the hardware. So the firmware must be stable enough to work in whatever condition. And then if in the case that the firmware needs to be updated, so then there is what we call OTA, over the air updates.
All right.
So rather than you go to every site to install the firmware, to reinstall, to update the software, so you from remote you can update the software hundreds of kilometers away from your office.
That save a lot of
So
time.
it save a lot of time, save a lot of cost, and then you have to take a look at, when you do this project, you have to think about the support, long-term support. It's not like install then you run away. You cannot do that. So there must be some form of warranty, sales, after-sales service, and so on and so forth. So people always focus, when they build IoT solution, they focus on hardware, but support is also very important.
It is. Yep. All right. So now actually, this is the part that everyone is waiting for, Doctor. What are your tips for companies planning to enter the IoT space?
So I always say these three things, Zura. First, don't try to do everything by yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, you get.
Don't be the Superman.
Yeah, Superman is only works in movies.
Okay.
So you must get partners, the right partners that can complement your part of where you doesn't have that strength. So some might focus on the hardware, the sensors. Some might also focus on software.
Right.
Some focus on the cloud or the platform. So you focus on your strength. So that's the number one thing. Secondly, you must ensure that you test fast, fail fast. So you you don't have to wait for 100% to be finished and then you want to install. You never know, but after 1 year, your product development, then it doesn't work. So if you have a prototype, you start it off with a prototype. Test early, improve it as you go along. That's key.
Okay.
And thirdly, I think you must also always think that we have to think about scaling from the start.
Okay.
So if your project succeeds suddenly, do you have everything? Do you have ability to scale it up, or you need to redo everything? You know, with one sensor, with one IoT device, it works fine, and then suddenly you have hundreds of devices, thousands of devices. Have you ever think about the scaling part? So that sometimes people miscalculate, or that they didn't plan very well, and they cannot scale up.
Right. And I think, Doctor, maybe I can also add one more on the budget, Doctor.
Yeah.
So many underestimate the cost. So like when sensors break, there's no spare. That's it. When it's time to upgrade, there's no budget. So
yeah, I couldn't agree with you more on this, Zura, because IoT isn't cheap. But if you done it right, it can pay off.
Right. So what would be the most common mistake that you've seen in IoT projects, Doctor?
Okay, we could also have some questions.
Oh, okay. All right. So, sorry, maybe we can just hold on for a while. Carl Hans have a question. So, what do you think about our country in terms of going to or implementing a smart cities? Do we care about it right now? It seems low and not obvious like our neighbor country, Singapore.
This is a very $1 million question, Carl. I think when we talk about smart cities, I think we have gone through many phases of smart cities, and now we are actually at the phase where we are very well structured in trying to implement smart cities in a lot of our cities in Malaysia. Previously, we don't have what we call like a framework, a smart cities framework. We do have, once we have that, actually we don't have the right plan, the action plan to break it down into different phases. Now we are clear, in a lot of our cities, in Ipoh, Johor, Kuala Lumpur, Putrajaya, they have action plans that can show them what are the short-term plans that they want to do. In 1 year plan, in medium term, 3 years or 5 years, or the long-term plan. So once they have that plan, they can budget it out. They can plan it. What are the things that they can build. With the smart cities indicator that been launched by our government, that smart city indicators tell us where you are exactly. Are you early adopter or are you a very advanced smart city? So that indicators meaning to say that if you implement certain project, you have passed that indicator. Once you have you have reached to a certain number of indicators, you reach to a certain stage of smart city maturity. So now the plan is quite well in place. Now the problem is execution. So Carl, you did mention that how fast is quite slow. Yeah, it's true, because the reason being is always comes to budget. Yeah, budget. A lot of smart cities implementation is not revenue generating per se.
Yeah.
It's mainly smart. It's for the citizens. So for the benefit of the citizen. Sometimes it's mainly for convenience for the people. It doesn't make money. You look at an environmental, it doesn't make money. The one like project like make money, for example, is parking, and then billing your whatever transaction transaction with the municipals.
Yeah.
So that makes money. But a lot of other projects doesn't really make money, but actually for convenience lah, or saving costs. So the budget needs to come from two sources. The main sources will be from the municipals themselves. So if they are rich, they collect a lot of taxes, then they can build a lot more applications lah. But if the smart city in certain areas are very small, they don't have enough budget. So some of them depend on the federal government to support them, but not enough for them to implement.
Yeah, I guess we have KJ as well in the house. Hello KJ. Alamak Fitri. Okay, so yeah, KJ also mentioned transparency and openness of our local authority or PVT is actually the core challenges.
Yeah, I think most of the time is they need to have certain governance. Once you have a governing structure that is very clear who you want to talk to. So I always advise the PBTs to have what we call a project management office, who have very structured manner to manage the technical issues and also the commercial issues. It must be comprised from their own internal people and also some experts from industry. So once they work together, they can resolve any issues very fast.
I see.
And then it can, certain data, certain dashboard needs to be also make it open, transparent, like what KJ mentioned lah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. Carl is saying I'm working for an international company for IoT projects, and they're don't really interested in expanding market in Malaysia yet because it's too slow. Is it, Carl?
No, for us, Carl, I think we actually in Malaysia are trying to expand to overseas in other markets. That's true. The market here in Malaysia most likely is because of the size of the market. It's not that big. So if we work with countries are more developed or in developing countries or bigger countries, that's where that you have that kind of market. But of course, the way that I think you need to strategize yourself how to position us. Even though we are in Malaysia, they can work with us, but we have an access to other countries. For example, a company in Middle East work with you, but we have access to our neighboring country. So you have partners in Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam. So that is a hub for other countries who would like to work with you. And that's the strategy that I think we should work on.
Right. Okay. Well, perhaps we can go back to our my next question to you, Doctor.
Okay.
All right.
So,
I would like to ask you about the thing that I asked you just now. What is the most common mistake that you've seen in IoT projects?
Okay. There are a few common mistakes which I've seen. One of them is sometimes they use free platforms. Free IoT platform that cannot scale and cannot grow the numbers. Sometimes it's open source, you install in your PC. It doesn't work that way. You can install for one application. The moment you have many big customers, you have big problems.
Yes.
Secondly, they might choose a very super cheap sensors that give unreliable data. So
not cheap, industrial grade, you mean?
Yeah, cheap doesn't come with quality lah. So it's not industrial grade. It breaks down easily. You buy today, another week it fails. So another thing is that you sometimes we ignore cyber security. So people sometimes feel that the data is not being encrypted enough. So you need to ensure that it's not easily being exposed. And of course, another mistake is that, like I said just now, we install and then we run away. We install and then we tend to forget. But there is always a maintenance plan. But I think here, in sometimes a lot in our country, in other countries, most likely maintenance is always at the back of their mind. So when you ask maintenance, they don't want to subscribe to the maintenance plans, right?
Yeah, I mean, why is that so? I mean, Doctor, most of our clients, some of them, overlook on the maintenance.
The thing if they want to cut, they cut the maintenance because they feel if nothing breaks, why should you have maintenance? But they thought that the equipment or the services can run forever. It doesn't that way. So it's always have a warranty period. It's always have certain lifetime period.
Yep.
Warranty needs to be there in the hardware and also the software. So for example, like our platform needs to be upgraded to a new version.
Correct.
To cater for new services.
Yes.
So that is also part of the maintenance. It doesn't mean that when it breaks down, you need to upgrade, you need to maintain. But you also need to upgrade the version, the software version. The firmware version, the software versions with new features. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, that's true, Doctor. So anyway, I guess we don't have any.
No, I think I sorry to
sure.
When I look at Carl's question just now, maybe I mistaken I thought that people from overseas want to come to Malaysia. But he's saying that he is working in international company, kan? So things that people that involved in this project not really interested in Malaysia alone. So they work here. Maybe the market is not here, lah.
That's right. That's why I said maybe it's like slow, perhaps. Yeah. Okay, so guys, if you do have any other questions, do drop it in the message, and I can read it. So, or else, we also almost hit the 30-minute mark, Doctor.
Really? Such a short time.
Wow! All of a sudden, it's almost finished.
But I think if they miss this, they always come back to see our episode 4 lah, kan?
Yeah.
Because we have already recorded this.
Yep. Okay, so anyway, doctors, if you had to leave our listeners with one final piece of advice, what would it be?
Okay, I think it's always come to this like this. When you want to start solving the right problem, when you want to start the project, you start with the right problem.
Okay.
Understanding the right problem, and then don't always push for technology, or you don't chase for any particular technology.
Okay.
Certain technology, simple, can really works. You don't have to be a very advanced technology. You know, it can solve your problem. So IoT is like not magic, like you say, one.
A magic wand.
So click jadi lah. You cannot do like that. So, but if you use it correctly, it can change a lot of things lah.
Okay.
It can transform the small business becoming more competitive, more productive. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Sorry, just to say, Carl is saying I'm hoping to bring it to Malaysia. Okay. Okay, good. But maybe you can collab with us too, Carl.
Carl, are you from Malaysia or are you from somewhere else? I'm not sure.
Can you please answer?
Maybe Carl is not from Malaysia, kan? He's thinking he's working from somewhere overseas, and he's thinking of bringing that to Malaysia.
Right.
Malaysia have this Malaysia's IoT Association, kan? So the association have a lot of members that comes together, working with in a very good ecosystem. We do have partners that have in different areas, people working hardware, the software, the platforms. So these are the ecosystem that should be working together. Like I said, in IoT you cannot work alone. You need to work with partners.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Carl is from Malaysia, working Johor.
Okay.
Lama. My hometown.
Yeah.
Our hometown, Doctor.
Our hometown, not only your hometown.
Okay. Yeah, good.
I'm from JB, yeah.
Same here. Okay. So anyway, Doctor, like what you said just now lah. Okay, really love it. Problem first, not technology first. Alright. So remember that, guys. So thank you so much, Doctor, for joining us today.
My pleasure, Zura. So I hope it helps those who are actually thinking in building IoT, projects lah in future.
Yeah. Always pleasure chatting with you, Doctor. So, alright everyone. So I guess that's it for our episode 4 of Favorite Sembang Santai. Don't forget to follow us on Spotify, Amazon Music and YouTube. if you got a question or want to or you want us to cover a topic, just DM us, alright? So see you in the next episode. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Bye.